ਸਾਜੀ ਨਵਾਜੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. We met a few months ago in Houston, and I had the opportunity to speak at that time in memory of Dr.Ranjit Singh. And at that time I spoke about how in society, when we go back and look at the history, and we find that people always talk about how certain things and certain individuals are pillars of the society. And at that time I said, yes, you do look for pillars, but actually every pillar is sitting upon a foundation. So, and you may find a remnants of half a pillar, a full pillar, but you always found the full foundation. And when we look at our history, Dr.Ranjit Singh is a foundation. He is not just a pillar, but a foundation of what we are. And when we go back in history, and at that time I talked about all that he has done. And today's one time to look at what is so important that he's done, and that was he was instrumental in TV 84. And time, at that time at the beginning, you may have seen a once a week show. And I remember going to different houses, and there was a banner in the back, and you saw the TV 84 banner by Ranjit Singh and other Sikhs and sisters and brothers always working hard to bring that message forward. Guru Nanak's traveling over 40,000 miles to take a message of Gursikhi. Of his time, he knew, understood that the message must be taken from place to place. In today's world, it is the multimedia. That message that must be brought to every individual, and Dr.Ranjit Singh understood that right from the beginning. That message can be only brought, our message, through a television channel that would be the voice, the true voice. Of course, we hear about fake news and so forth, but he made sure that our voice and the truth was presented to the community as is. So, talking about TV 84. TV 84 really brings a voice of and it resonates to the truth where our diaspora sits today. So when you hear Dr. bringing this together, Dr. Amarjit Singh, from now today, almost on a daily time, or Amarjit Singh talking about different issues that concern us. A voice that is a truth for our diaspora. So I encourage you to make sure you invest in this television that brings our voice forward. A voice of reasoning, a voice of truthfulness, a voice that lets the rest of the world know where we sit today. And when Dr. Amarjit Singh talks about these issues, he talks it in the terms of respect and intellectual level as how it reflects on a global perspective. So the youth today, and I see that when this program started maybe a decade ago today, look at all the number of individuals have joined up as a youth, understanding the message and what it means for us to bring this message to our elected officials. As I've also had the opportunity to work with an elected official, today the biggest ambassadors are those who have understood our issues and talked to our elected officials. Why? Because they've been grounded to our issues. So if you want to make sure that these values continue, please support TV 84. So I cannot say enough, but I do want to thank, as I did that day, to the family. The family, as was talked about, it was the time that the family had given up of their husband, of their father, or perhaps another relative that Ranjit Singh was. And that valuable time, of course, will never be given back to the family, but it was given to the Panth. And, as you heard before, conviction. Why the conviction? It was his conviction. That is, today should be our conviction. That we carry that little light of mine, as many times spoken in the African American community, that little light of mine. That touches another light and enlightens the whole world. So he was that one instrument of light that will flourish among us all. So we come back to the foundation. He is a foundation, and you, perhaps many of you will become the pillars that will stand upon his foundation. But his message, of course, TV84, a real message of the Panth. I had the opportunity to go to different countries lately, and everywhere I go, they always bring up TV84, specifically Pakistan. I've had the opportunity. And the message is also heard there in different parts of other parts of the world, be it on the Asia side or the African continent or the North American continent. This is viewed all over the world today, your voice. So I humbly request that you work on what Dr. Ranjit Singh's whole life mission, perhaps not only things, but mission was to make sure that this news be brought, this truth will be brought of us, diaspora, and our concerns. So again, to the family, thank you. And within the family, there are leaderships born today. So I encourage everyone, thank you for your time. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.